Hey all and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts 3. We actually have some special moves for moving about the environment and whatnot, such as standing on shield with dog and dog. Don't ask how this works physics-wise, it just does.
Yeah, it steers about as well as you'd expect too, which is pretty funny because when I was going through it, I always just like to imagine they were just kind of completely fucking it up. So it's funny when they are unable to kind of get a grip on it and they just kind of skid and slide around. It's pretty great.
There is actually mini games involving the sled should you come back to the world, which honestly I didn't, and I feel I did a bit of a disservice to KH, but hey, when the story's done, I just kind of want to get to, the meat of Kingdom Hearts, which honestly is the original content. The Disney World stuff, as much as I like it, and I'm going to have to agree with the term here, is honestly filler, because, most of the time in past Kingdom Hearts games, it did not advance the story all that much. But from the get-go in Kingdom Hearts 3, and you'll see it in a little bit, actually, probably even in this part, you'll notice that the organisation stuff is much more closely tied into each Disney World from minute one. Or, if not minute one, at least before you finish the world. There's no, second world visits here. The worlds are just bigger as a result. And I prefer that because, let's be honest, the first visit in most worlds in KHG was utterly pointless. It did nothing to help. You fought a Disney boss and that was about it. In fact, I would say that's the only benefit the first visits have in Kingdom Hearts 2 in regards to Kingdom Hearts 3, is that they have more Disney bosses. There's not all that many of them in KH3 for some reason.
I kind of have to echo that. My reception to the worlds are kind of mixed. There's way less, but they're all bigger. But they can suffer from big, open Ubisoft world syndrome in that they can feel very spacious, too spacious at times. It is true the organization ties in a little bit more closely. Their plan is still stupid and doesn't really need the worlds when you think about it. It's kind of up and down for me. I'm glad all the worlds are new, but some of them are clearly weaker than others, especially when they have to reenact the movie. And you'll see what I mean when we get to particular ones.
Yeah, you're right there. I will say, it's good that they started off with a world like this, because thematically it makes sense. Sora needs to get his powers back, but also we needed to finish off Hercules, so he's not an anchor around the level designer's neck come Kingdom Hearts 4, or whatever the next game is. I believe it has been confirmed that Nomura wants to make a Kingdom Hearts game before Kingdom Hearts 4, which makes a lot of sense given the secret ending of 3, which I won't go into now. You'll just have to wait until the end of the game.
Yeah, of course Nomura's going to be making more side stuff. Hopefully this time he'll have a little bit more focus.
Well, I think, they've gotten the hard stuff out of the way with making the engine and whatnot. So if they wanted to pump out another KH3 level game, I don't think it would have been as hard as it would have been to start Kingdom Hearts 3. Because let's dispel a myth right here. It did not take 13 years to make Kingdom Hearts 3. That's just how long we've been waiting. I think development started properly roughly around 2013 to 2014. So it's your typical HD period of development time, 5 to 6 years. They actually started off with, I believe, a proprietary engine called the Luminous engine, but there were numerous problems and whatnot that led them to adopt Unreal Engine 4, and then development went a lot smoothly from there, and they had the help of Epic and whatnot to make that happen. And the game does run very smoothly as a result. It's not 60 FPS, but I imagine in future releases of KH3 they could get it to that. But for what it is, I would say the game runs smoothly. It looks great. Honestly, my only real problem with the game is the pacing. It doesn't have a huge mid-climax that Kingdom Hearts 2 had, and I feel that really affects things given the lesser number of worlds and whatnot.
Hercules, where are you?
With the development cycle, and I may as well get this out of the way now for that, I really feel... Obviously, I felt this for a long time now, and especially I think this comes true with Kingdom Hearts 3, in terms of how they approach their development of these games. Management at Square Enix was kind of shit when they started pumping out all this crap. They had no focus, all this useless side content that I still don't really think need to be made. They take so long to make this game, they have to restart it, all this shit happens. I don't think it's a coincidence that they switch out the CEO and then they finally finish Kingdom Hearts 3. Because this new CEO, I think, actually had, some kind of direction that he was trying to head here. I'm not sure about the other one. I heard the other one was bad. He was, buying stupid shit, not really finishing any projects. They were making trailers. It was a mess, alright? And though you have some benefits putting this game on PS4. I still think they should have finished it earlier, and they probably could have. They had a little bit more foresight and intention to it.
Man, you were so truthful there. You were red-pilling him so hard. Sora and Goofy just took off into the stratosphere.
Yeah, just kind of launched to that other world. We're done here, bye.
Now, can you imagine if they were in this cutscene, it was just Donald, and then just like a massive space on the right?
Great heroes, just like Hercules.
Oh, come on. I saved you there. Couldn't you at least call us like junior heroes or something?
Keep training? Is it that obvious?
It's not, really. It's...
Your muscles have deflated, your penis size is down at least 5 inches.
We'll get there.
Yeah, don't you remember at the end of Dream Drop Distance, he was so buff and swole, and then he just...
The Chad Dream Drop Distance Sora versus the Virgin Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, Jesus. Oh, look, it's Achilles. Why don't we attack his heel?
Oh, you know what? I just realized that it was Achilles. That makes sense, actually.
There you go. See, there's all these little destructible bits of the environment, like hidden bits for you to find in the world and whatnot, and this is why I just much prefer the world design in Kingdom Hearts 3 as opposed to like 2, which, in hindsight, was a bunch of fucking corridors. I mean, I like a lot of the worlds in that game, but you know, combine that with the cutscene direction not being great, and yeah, I just find Kingdom Hearts 2 quite dull on a replay. Honestly, and if we're comparing the games, you know, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix trounces 3 in terms of combat, but if you're just comparing base 2 to base 3, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it to KH3 in that regard, because, yeah, all KH2 had from the start, you know, apart from the random Colosseum stuff, was the Sephiroth, like, super fight. That's about it, and I think a lot of people forget that when judging Kingdom Hearts 3.
I guess it depends for that. I mean, like I was saying, there are less worlds, but there is more to do, so I guess there's a trade-off in that regard. But the end result, and, you know, we'll kind of get into that more as things goes on, even though Kingdom Hearts 3 does do a lot of things right in terms of, again, how, you know, some of its design choices. What's here, I just feel... ultimately isn't enough, and now's not really the time to get into that. You know, we're still obviously seeing what else the game has to offer for that, but, you know, I've got my thoughts about it.
Yeah. Stupid, ill-informed, ignorant fools, as is the Hell Dragon's want.
Yeah, you know, it just sucks to be so right, and then everybody tells you that you're so wrong.
Well, I've grown in confidence since we did that playthrough back in, well, it wasn't 2002, it was more like 2008, 2009.
God.
Was that our first, like, playthrough? It was console playthrough, anyway, yeah.
Well, I know that we first started off by finishing Pokemon Emerald. Well, no, we had to do Kingdom Hearts 1 first, obviously, so... that came not too long after we finished, or tried Red, I think. It was around that time that we just did Kingdom Hearts 1 at that point.
Now, the KH1 playthrough survived. Sadly, Emerald and Fire Red do not. In fact, a couple of years back, I was actually searching through files, and I found a piece of, like, commentary or audio for the Fire Red playthrough. Sadly, no longer around, but we have done a fair few Pokemon playthroughs to make up for this fact since then. Do you think we'll be covering Sword and Shield?
I don't know. You can if you want. I'm not super interested in it. I'm just here for the, you know, the shit-posting Scottish memes, personally, and that's about it.
Oh, I'll fucking do you, laddie. Oh, I can't do a fucking...
there he goes. He did the meme, as I told him to do. Great.
I don't know if, like, me being Irish and impersonating Scottish is a hate crime or not. I haven't really been keeping up to date with the definitions.
Well, you might as well call it one.
Look at this fucking duck force thing they got going on here. That was like a really advanced technique in like Kingdom Hearts 2, but hey, you get fucking flair from the get-go here.
Oh god, Donald's power is tremendous, and you will see what we mean. It's nice that they did replace a lot of standard reaction commands, you know, which were kind of more one-off things. You get more reliable team attacks, and one of my favorite things in RPGs actually are like dual text team attacks, like in Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
like that was always the coolest shit. So it is cool that you get these here. They're a little bit. I want to wait a little bit before we talk about all these various situation attacks you get, but they're supposed to kind of ape the command deck in a way. Because, I'll be honest with you, although I really like Birth by Sleep, I still think it's probably the best playing Kingdom Hearts game. With the command deck, it was pretty easy to cheese the shit out of it. Same thing with Dream Drop Distance, so I'm glad they dialed back on that a little bit and kind of gave you at least something that feels like it to a degree.
It's funny, you mentioned the command deck. I think more of the command styles, or whatever they were called, where you do certain attacks and it like builds up, and at the end you get a style based on what you input. Now, we're going to be getting to that actually very soon, I believe, because right now Sora isn't actually operating at 100% combat efficiency, and like Helldragon mentioned in the previous part, should you want to get like high level magic early, it is possible. Say like we're only dealing with fire and water right now, but we can easily get fire and Waterra should we play our cards right.
Breaking some casual boxes, getting my strength back, you see, just destroying people's possessions.
Ugh, these guys. I was having such a fun time with this take, and then they had to send in archers to pit me with arrows and whatnot. The only way they could piss me off more is if the arrows created mini shockwaves that knocked me back.
Mini shockwaves, and it's also a timed escort stealth mission. Those are the worst kind of arrows.
Underwater as well, like how powerful are these random moves, Jesus. Base. I will say, the AI for your companions is so much better in this game. Never have I been healed more by Donald when I needed it than in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, they feel reliable, and you can still go into like the options and kind of fine-tune how exactly you want them to interact with you and other party members. But Donald was fairly consistent in healing me. I was typically a little quicker on the gun because I'm paranoid about my health, but no, he did his job, so huge kudos to that, actually.
Oh my god, we have to save actual living people this time?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, he'd have to save the floor. Watch out! The floor!
We just had it washed. Oh, Jesus.
I still don't know why they're not running out of the temple, but okay, we'll go with this, I suppose. Oh no, the entrance got blocked, okay.
Yeah, that's why. Oh, there's bombs in here. Alright, well, I guess we have to save them during a timer. Water is starting to pour in, and the water's like partially electrified, I guess. Hades, will you pick one plan and stick with it, please? I'm getting whiplash.
Man, I got to this section, I got flashbacks from the end of God of War 1 where you had to protect your family from all the clones, so I was just like, oh god.
I still remember when I screen capped the part of that where it says, like, press X to hug your family or whatever, and I sent it to VG Advisor on Twitter, and he actually put it on, God bless him. But anyway, form changes, this is what we're talking about here. Keep an eye on the arrows building up on the left, and notice what attacks we're inputting here. We have one thing from the get-go, which is called, like, second form, which gives you a lot of, I think, moves from Kingdom Hearts 2 or earlier Kingdom Hearts games, like, I think Strike Raid might be in there. It's sort of like limit form from Kingdom Hearts 2, but lesser, and you don't get fancy clothes like you did there. But let's keep using Waterra, and eventually, well, let's keep using water even, and eventually we'll get Waterra. But here's second form. Have a gander at this.
It's not super impressive, but obviously it's a kind of a hint to the form changes you are going to get. You do get some good moves for it. I never really saw him do Strike Raid. I was just keeping my eye, because each form does have a finisher that you'll want to use before the form runs out. But they can be pretty helpful. Some of them are just bonkers, some of them are terrible. Let me tell you, the Keyblade we get from this world has a terrible finisher for the form change that it gets, but the other ones aren't nearly as bad.
Well, I mean, the actual style is great, but yeah, I will agree, in every playthrough I watch, they say that the Keyblade you get from Olympus has a pretty monotonous finisher, and unfortunately you can't turn those things off. That would be a quality of life feature I would like in an update. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe it'll be considered for Kingdom Hearts 4 or 3.5 or whatever the fuck, you know?
He does that little animation here. You can disable those for the different form changes, but I'm not sure if this is true. Anybody in the comments, please clarify this for me. Because when you're doing form changes with your different Keyblades, he will actually attack during those, and then that will do damage and that will have invincible frames. I think if you turn off those cinemas, you don't get that. Someone clarify that for me, but I think you actually lose that invincible attack when you're form changing.
Okay.
That sounds very specific, and as such, not for me. I keep things vanilla when I'm playing games, so yes, we will rely on the comment section for this. Don't worry, Hercules is strong. He can survive this.
Survive? Yes, survive. Surviving's a better idea.
Protect the NPCs!
I just gotta get away from here before they just throw another tournament.
Can you imagine if it, like, cut to credits right here?
That'd be a little dark, don't you think? And then Xehanort's like, exactly!
Just as planned. It's fine, guys. They're not going to kill off the titular hero of the world we're in right from the start.
Well, he is kind of semi-mortal at this time. It would be possible.
Huh?
Whoa, a complete no-cell. Weird.
My muscles saved me. Thank God for lift day, gain day. As you can tell, I'm not one for venturing into a gym.
Scared us.
See, Sora, if you lifted weights, then you could survive that too. As of right now, they would just squish you.
Oh boy, here comes the moral plot. Woo woo! Oh God, it's crashing!
So you'll notice whenever you go through any world in this game, you're sitting there, you're having fun, you're reenacting the movie, or you're doing your own fun little side thing. Then in comes the organization to, and this is literally every scene with them. They come in, they monologue, they don't shut the fuck up, they don't attack them, then they leave. There's one instance where Sora tries to attack one of them, but he just phases out of it so he can complete his boring monologue. They're terrible. I'm sorry. They're just legit terrible parts of the otherwise enjoyable world. And I kind of wish they had a better way to approach this, no doubt, fascinating and important information than just info dump it on us.
I will disagree, but with a but. Not an actual but,
that's weird.
A proverbial. But I like the fact that they wove the organization more into this. But I will say, Kingdom Hearts paced its story stuff a little bit better. There are lots of cutscenes in KH3, owing to the fact that they do have to close a lot of like plot lines and whatnot. And, you know, with the lesser amount of worlds, that just means a lot more time spent in cutscenes and whatnot. For me, that's fine. I love these characters. I think the writing in KH3 for characters and whatnot, dialogue and such, is pretty good. Probably the best in the series. But Helldragon does have a point when the pacing sometimes doesn't really know when to shut up and when to not to shut up, you know?
Why would I ever take advice from you?
I don't disagree with you in that I do think the character writing for the organization is much better this time around. They're less boring anime villains. I mean, no, make no mistake, they're still boring anime villains, alright? But at least some of them have some fucking personality. They feel more human, especially with some of the Xehanorts, particularly. Boy, and the writing and again direction is so much better, but then you get so many cutscenes like this where they just keep fucking talking and then they leave and that's it. It's just, the pacing is weird, like you said.
Sora, don't let it bother you. He only has one eye. You know, I've dealt with people who only have one eye before, and, well, I mean, they help govern the actual fate of my world, so I can't really sass them too much, but he's very clearly mortal, so...
Besides, we're already...
That was a mythology joke, for those of you not following along. I was talking about the fates.
Oof. Oh, he tries, guys, but that's why I'm here.
My favourite Hercules joke involving the fates is actually in the TV series, where I think they go to, like, Scandinavia or whatever, and it's like the fucking Norse mythology, and they find the fates, like it's the same exact fate, and they're like, no, we are the Norns. It's like, no, you're very clearly double-dipping mythologies.
I haven't seen that episode. I don't remember that bit.
That's the bit where, Hercules gets tricked into becoming Thor and whatnot, and Loki unleashes Ragnarok.
Again, I don't remember that episode, but right now my Norse myth is based on God of War 4, sorry.
Fair dues, mate, fair dues. You may have noticed we have been picking up ingredients and whatnot. If you've been following along the dev cycle of Kingdom Hearts 3, you will know that there is a certain minigame based on a Pixar property, which I shall not name now, lest I start gushing about the film. And it's not the best Pixar film ever, but it's a pretty good one. And I'm rambling now, but goddamn, we get a lot of combo pluses early on in the game.
I will have to say, with the different movies they do represent as worlds in this game, I have actually not seen a lot of them. So, for some of them, being, naturally the kind of half-assed movie reenactments they have to be, it was kind of really my first chance experiencing them for the first time, so you'll have to let Tom kind of take point for a lot of the movie talk when we get to those.
No worries, mate, no worries. Now, here's a very divisive mechanic in Kingdom Hearts 3. The attractions. How did you feel about these, like, big one-off moves that you can get from time to time, mate?
I really feel mixed about this. On the one hand, it makes so much sense for a game that's so themed about Disney to have attractions in it. Like, that in itself is a cool concept. I think that's really thematically appropriate. My problem with them is that they're so few. You get them all of the time.
Yeah.
And they can only really be activated kind of randomly by certain... Depending on the encounter, depending on the enemy, they have a chance to activate. But you get them so often that quickly they lose their value. Some of them are weird to aim. You got that pirate ship one. I think that one's shit. The blaster one is probably the best one, simply because you can do stuff with it. They wear out their welcome really quick. And there's like one in particular we're going to see at the end of this world, and then at the end of the game. You just have to wonder, like, when did he get this ability? Why doesn't he use it more often? What kicks it off? Why couldn't he use it in certain scenarios? It's just not really explained that well. And again, they do wear out their welcome really quick.
I would, and again, this is a running theme with certain things in Kingdom Hearts 3, I would have liked the option to turn them off, but I don't really agree with a lot of people when they say it's shit and whatnot. Like, certain ones are better than others. Like, for me, I don't bother with, like, the primary attack of shooting water balls and whatnot. I just immediately hit triangle and get the ship's super. But, you know, they're fun for what they are. I think if they toned down the frequency of when they appear, it would have been a lot more balanced, you know. And it's weird. It's a mechanic that doesn't have, like, a story or lore explanation for it. Like, actually, did flow motion even have a fucking thing? Apart from, like, Neku using it in a cutscene, you just kind of had it at the start of Dream Drop.
Yeah, well, that's still more than just, oh, attractions exist, you can do them. Oh no, you did Splash Run, sorry. It's just, that's the worst one. It's just, you can't hit shit with it, it doesn't really do any damage. Again, just hope you get the blaster one.
I hope they have, like, a Simpsons attraction flow in Kingdom Hearts 4, now that Disney has pretty much taken control of Fox and whatnot.
Yeah, Disney kind of owns everything now. I'm super against other properties showing up in Kingdom Hearts. Star Wars would be terrible. Don't put Marvel stuff in it. It just would be weird. It'd be lame, in my opinion. You couldn't really do all the cool stuff you wanted to do. The closest thing you're going to get, which is a fair enough compromise, I think, is the Disney version of Big Hero 6, which was originally a Marvel comic series.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, that's a little fair. But please, God, don't put in all the MCU shit, because you'll just ruin that game like you did with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Whew, yikes, that's a bit of a deep cut there, mate, but I've been trying to agree with you, but I don't know where I was going with this. I think you're...
Just say yes, THD, you are correct as always, and I love your hair, by the way.
You look like fucking Harry Potter. I'm not falling for this shit. Anywho,
yeah, you're right.
I think we're safe from Star Wars, if only for the fact that EA has the Star Wars license, which is why...
Yeah, they've been doing so great with that.
Yeah, let me finish my fucking sentence, please, Mr. Contrarian. They haven't really put out, like, many licensed games. Like, you'll remember when, like, episodes 1 to 3 were out, there were tons of that shit. I even remember owning the official, like, licensed story game for episode 3, which wasn't the best, but it was a decent hack and slash, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Got it at the same time as Time Splitters 3, if you want a little bit of a date for you, right there. But, nothing for episode 7 or The Last Jedi, which, honestly, I feel has contributed to those films not really having any kind of lasting impact, because make no mistake, the gaming side of Star Wars is fucking huge. In fact, I think recently Disney has, like, revived Lucasfilm games, so who knows what will come from there.
I think they've probably been looking at, again, that past legacy for various Star Wars games. There have been a lot of good Star Wars games. I'm not the hugest Star Wars fan, but there have been a lot of great Star Wars games. Battlefront 2, the original, was fantastic. Yep. I still think it's great. So I think they're going to maybe try to make a comeback to that. Like I said, EA has been doing a shit job. EA being EA, as it will. They're going to fuck up everything you care about. But ultimately behind this, we probably won't get Star Wars. They were working on a mobile game, I believe, at one point that was going to have Star Wars and Frozen stuff in it, but that didn't happen. I just don't think thematically it will work. And this is, of course, me talking about Kingdom Hearts with one of the worst stories I've seen in a while. So
I disagree completely. I don't think it's badly written. I think it's just overly convoluted, which is not the same thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm just pickier in that regard, but at least we both agree on something.
Yes we do. For once. This is why he was kicked out of the group, by the way, because he not only called my mum a slag, he said Kingdom Hearts 2 was a bad game.
I did not call your mom a Transformers swear word, okay?
What? Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. We were coming from completely different demographics there. Oh, man, I love how pretty the Olympus climb. is. It goes on for a little bit, and these water guys are a little bit annoying, but hey, better this than another fucking stale, boring tournament, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't worry, I'm sure that'll be DLC down the line somehow, and they'll charge for it.
Oh, you cheeky prankster, what do you look?